Jai Hind. Now we are presenting one of the greatest philosophers of the world, Aristotle. That is in Hindi, Arastu. Basically, I will use Aristotle in this video. So let's start the video. Biography of Aristotle. Aristotle, born 384 BC at Stagira in Greece. Aristotle was Greek philosopher and scientist, one of the greatest intellectual figures of Western history. He was the author of philosophical and scientific system that became the framework and vehicle for both Christian scholasticism and medieval Islamic philosophy. Even after the intellectual revolution of the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the Enlightenment, Aristotelian concepts remained embedded in Western thinking. Aristotle's intellectual range was vast, covering most of the science and many of arts including biology, botany, chemistry, ethics, history, logic, metaphysics, rhetoric, philosophy of mind, philosophy of science, physics, poetics, politics, theory, psychology, and geology. He was the founder of formal logic, devising for it a finished system that for centuries was regarded as the sum of the discipline, and he pioneered the study of geology, both observational and theoretical, in which some of the his work remained unsurpassed until the 19th century. But he is, of course, most outstanding as a philosopher. His writing in ethics and political theory, as well as in metaphysics and the philosophy of science, continue to be studied, and his work remains a powerful current in contemporary philosophical debates. This article deals with Aristotle's life and bought for the later development of Aristotelian philosophy. See Aristotelianism. For treatment of Aristotelianism in the full context of Western philosophy, see Philosophy Western. Life and the Academy of Aristotle. Aristotle was born in the Greece peninsula of Macedonia in northern Greece. His father Nicomas was the physician of Amyntas III, king of Macedonia and grandfather of Alexander the Great. After his father's death in 367, Aristotle migrated to Athens, where he joined the Academy of Plato. He remained there for 20 years as Plato's pupil and colleague. Many of Plato's later dialogues date from these decades, and they may reflect Aristotle's contributions to philosophy debates at the Academy. Some of Aristotle's writings also belong to this period, though mostly they survive only in fragments. Like his master, Aristotle wrote initially in dialogue form, and his early ideas show a strong Platonic influence. His dialogue, Eudemus, for example, reflects the Platonic view of the soul as imprisoned in the body and as capable of a happier life only when the body has been left behind. According to Aristotle, the dead are more blessed and happier than the living, and to die is to return to one's real home. Another useful work, the exhortation, has been reconstructed by modern scholars from quotations in various works from late antiquity. Everyone must do philosophy, Aristotle claims, because even arguing against the practice of philosophy is itself a form of philosophizing. The best form of philosophy is the contemplation of the universe of nature. It is for this purpose that God made human beings and gave them a godlike intellect. All else strength, beauty, power, and honor is worthless. It is possible that two Aristotle's surviving works on logic and disputation, the topics and the sophistical refutations belonging to this early period, the former demonstrates how to construct arguments for a position one has already decided to adopt. The latter shows how to detect weaknesses in the arguments of others. Although neither works amount to a systematic treatise on formal logic, Aristotle can justly say at the end of the sophistical refutation that he invented the discipline of logic. Nothing at all existed when he started. During Aristotle's residence at the academy, King Philip II of Macedonia waged war on a number of Greek city-states. The Athens defended their independence only half-heartedly, and after a series of humiliation concession, they allowed Philip to become, by 338, master of the Greek world. It cannot have been an easy time to be a Macedonian resident in Athens. Within the academy, however, relations seem to have remained cordial. Aristotle always acknowledged as a great debate to Plato. He took a large part of his philosophical agenda from Plato, and his teaching is more often a modification than a repudiation of Plato's doctrines. Already, however, Aristotle was beginning to distance himself from Plato's theory of forms or ideas. The word form, when used to refer to forms as Plato conceived them, is often capitalized in the scholarly literature. When used to refer to forms as Aristotle conceived them, it is conventionally lower caste. Plato had held that, in addition to particularly things, there exists a supersensible realm of forms which are immutable and everlasting. This realm, he maintained, makes particular things intelligible by accounting for their common natures. A thing is a horse, for example, by virtue of the fact that it soars in or imitates the form of horse. In a last work on ideas, Aristotle maintains that the arguments of Plato, central dialogues, establish only that there are, in addition to particulars, certain common objects of the science. In his surviving works as well, Aristotle often takes issue with the theory of forms, sometimes politically and sometimes contemptuously. In his Metaphysics, he argues that the theory of fails to solve the problem it was meant to address. It does not confer intelligibility on particulars because immutable and everlasting forms cannot explain how particulars come into existence and undergo change. all the theories does according to Aristotle is introduce new entities equal in number to the entities to be explained, as if one could solve a problem by doubling it. Now, travel of Aristotle. When Plato died about 348, his nephew Speusippus became head of the academy and Aristotle left Athens. He migrated to Assos, a city on the northern western coast of Anatolia in present-day Turkey, where Hermias, a graduate of the academy, was rural. Aristotle became a close friend of Hermias and eventually married his ward Pythias. Aristotle helped Hermias to negotiate an alliance with Macedonian, which angered the Persian king who had Hermias treacherous arrested and put to death about 341. Aristotle saluted Hermias' memories in Ode to Virtue, his only surviving poem. While in Essex and during the subsequent few years when he lived in the city, Mytilenes on the island of Lesbos, Aristotle carried out extensive scientific research, particularly in zoology and marine biology. This work was summarized in a book later known misleadingly as The History of Animals, to which Aristotle added two short treatises on the parts of animals and on the generation of animals. Although Aristotle did not claim to have founded the science of zoology, his detailed observation of a wide variety of organisms were quite without precedent. He or one of his research assistants must have been gifted with remarkably accurate eyesight, since some of the features of insects that he accurately reports were not again observed until the invention of the microscopes in the 17th century. The scope of Aristotle's scientific research is astonishing. Much of it is concerned with the classification of animals into genus and species. More than 500 species figure in his treatises, many of them described in detail the myriad items of information about the anatomy, diet, habit, modes of copulation, and reproductive system of mammals, reptile, fish, and insects are a melange of minute investigation and vestige of superstition. In some cases, his unlikely stories about rare species of fish were proved accurate many centuries later. In other places, he states clearly and fairly a biological problem that took millennia to solve, such as the nature of embryonic development. Despite an admixture of the fabulous, Aristotle's biological works must be regarded as a stupendous achievement. His inquiries were conducted in a genuinely scientific spirit, and he was always ready to confess ignorance where evidence was insufficient. Whenever there is a conflict between theory and observation, one must trust observation, he insisted, and theories are to be trusted only if their results confirm with the observed phenomena. In 343 or 342, Aristotle was summoned by Philip II to the Macedonian capital at Pella to act as tutor to Philip's 13-year-old son, the future Alexander the Great. Little is known of the content of Aristotle's instruction, although the rhetoric to Alexander was included in the Aristotelian corpus for centuries. It is now commonly regarded as a forgery. By 326, Alexander had made himself master of an empire that stretched from the Danube to the Indus and included Libya and Egypt. Ancient sources report that during his campaign, Alexander arranged for biological specimens to be sent to his tutor from all parts of Greece and Asia Minor. That's it. Jai Hind.